Hi everyone, this is meowmurai. Let's continue our game of Loretta running on Nintendo Switch. Margaret's house was much like our own, yet still so much nicer. The paint wasn't peeling off the walls and the fence didn't sag. She and Clarence didn't have as much land, but they managed it by themselves. They didn't rent it out to farmers. Everything this filthy thieving bitch had was better than anything I had. And she still decided to take away the last thing that was mine. The chance to change my life. It's hard to describe the amount of anger I was feeling when I kicked down her door. When I kicked her door down, I busted into her house hollering her name. But I got no answer. Photographs of Margaret and Clarence hung up on the walls. There was some lithograph of a sprig of wheat in a dusty frame. Water dripped from my wet hair onto the muzzle of the revolver, and the wind blew the sweet scent of flowers through the room. Margaret? Where is she? A brand new gramophone. I didn't think you knew how to read. You. Give the manuscript back, Margaret. You're a monster. They'll throw you in the gas chamber for this. They might. But you'll end up with a hole in that thick skull of yours. Now give me the damn manuscript. You killed Walter. You killed him. What for? Some lousy scraps of paper? You'll die for him too if you ain't careful. Now enough talking. Then why? Was it revenge? Because Walter was leaving you? Life is much more than men, Loretta. And if a whore like... as if a whore like you would know. Give me the manuscript. No way I'm handing it over to you. Get out of my house. You want to shoot? Then shoot. Add another crime to the list. One more is one less, right? Proves you've got no humanity left in you. I ain't giving you the book. You don't deserve his work. Walter was right. Right about what? Your son, Loretta. What was his name? Keep him out of this, you whore. Walter told me, but I didn't believe him. I just couldn't. But you killed him too, didn't you? Shut up, Margaret. You drowned your own baby. Shut the fuck up. What kind of person does that? Shoot, try to persuade her. Oh. I don't think she's into persuasion. Think of your soul, Loretta. You ain't talking your way out of this one, Margaret. Don't even try. You got no idea how long I waited for this. Goodbye, Margaret. Click. And the gas lamp broke. Click, click. And a battered Margaret rushed out into the yard. We ran like mad dogs in the wet wheat, our dress dirty with mud. Veins throbbed in my temples. I shot again and again, but I missed every time. Gunpowder burned my hand. I screamed, don't remember what exactly. Eventually Margaret screamed something too. I took aim and squeezed the trigger one last time. Then, after a little while, Margaret fell into the darkness. She lay in a puddle, holding her bleeding shoulder with her other hand. I must have hit an artery. You ruined my life, I screamed. You had no right to do that. I wanted to scream everything that was swirling around in my mind at that pretty young face of hers. Beautiful even despite the mad grin, on the verge of death. But I got scared, so I grabbed her by the hair and pushed her head deeper into the puddle. And then I held it there as long as I could. Blood mixed with the dirty black water, until it started to look like the streaks of gasoline, or cranberry syrup and melted chocolate ice cream. Margaret struggled, slapping the water and splashing it sideways, until finally she stopped. I fell down beside her. Drops of rain rolled off my hair, washing away dust, blood, and sweat. I felt calm and free, for the first time in forever. Then something as red as the sunset filled the sky. Black clouds hid the stars. Pillars of black smoke rose into the air. Margaret's house was on fire. My house burned down that day too. Good riddance to it. I think back on those days often. I don't live in the past, no. I try not to. I don't think about it much at lunch or dinner, or when I'm cleaning or getting ready for bed. But at night, those suppressed, passionate desires and dreams break free of the dungeon I ruthlessly banish them to. I've been having weird dreams lately. In them, human bodies melt like wax brought to a fire. I wake up several times a night. My throat runs dry with thirst. My thoughts seem to run dry too, like a river or a well. My forehead and armpits grow sticky with sweat, and I can't get my words out straight. I ain't sure what I'm saying at all, or what's being said to me. But I eventually open my eyes. The bright ceiling lamp makes me want to puke. They never turn the lights off in the cells. The little blue ring looks like an artificial sun, and its rays feel heavier than anything I've ever known.
Good afternoon, Loretta. How are you feeling today? Can you tell me why you bit Dr. Miller? That wasn't very polite. I can't help but worry that you'll bite me next.
You have a familiar face.
Cigarette?
I thought smoking wasn't allowed in here.
I like to make an exception for our regular guests.
What?
I need to run some tests and check the state of your bones. So I'm trying to schedule you in for an X-ray, Loretta.
Who are you?
I suspect there might be some damage to your bone marrow. Do you happen to know what neurosyphilis is? Okay, well, it doesn't matter now. How's your leg feel? Any pain?
With the drugs y'all are making me take, nothing hurts no more.
Well, maybe you should have hammered in that fucking nail low. Walter played a cruel joke on you. Got you from the grave, the bastard.
No.
What do you mean, no? Come on, it's not like you didn't have any fun, right? Although I can't quite wrap my head around one thing. Why'd you chase her? Why not just grab the manuscript?
The thought didn't occur to me.
Didn't occur to you? You ever think about what's waiting for you, Harris? The chair? The gas chamber? Or maybe just a rope?
Hell.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So that's one of the endings. I guess we've gone through two technically. So the first ending being grabbing the arsenic in front of the detective in the first part of the game, which, you can die pretty early in the game if you want to. And then this ending, which obviously wasn't the ideal ending, but I did want to see what would happen if you just decided to feed into feed into the devil that was calling you. You know, especially in that milkman sequence. I have to say, this is incredibly well done. I think what we'll do is, after we play through a couple more endings, we'll also look at the developer's previous work, which is more of a traditional horror setup. But I think this is again amazingly well done. You know, the plot and the decisions and the overall style of the game, you know, really shows you that you can bridge the gap between cinema and video games, even in something that looks like a low-res, you know, a low-res presentation. You know, and traditionally I do not like low-res presentations, so you know, it shows the quality of the game that I can get over that.
I don't know, Walter. I have a bad feeling about this. Maybe we can still go back.
Go back? Where? To New York? Ah, come on, baby. I promise you're going to love it here. The nature, the air, it's beautiful. Besides, what's the worst that could happen? We still don't have like all the answers for Walter. Like why did he have the piece of evidence from the kidnapping of the little girl? That part doesn't really make that much sense to me. I mean, he was involved, so I don't know. What exactly was his involvement? And then what about the previous parents? What about the grandparents? It said their room smelled like terrible. And we can infer that Loretta had some sort of episode, some sort of post-traumatic stress, where the you know, she may have killed her own baby. I'm not a I wouldn't say it's regular, but certainly not the only case where, you know, after birth a woman may have some PTSD, which heavily affects her judgment. I know Margaret's awful bold. Trying to goad me. I like this game too because everybody's kind of in the wrong. Loretta's in the wrong, Margaret's in the wrong, Walter's in the wrong. I don't think there's anybody that has a good moral compass in this game. So again, when you know, kind of shit hits the fan, then you're I think you're not worried about whether the decisions you make are going to be the right ones, because they're all wrong, right? I'm trying to persuade her.
Loretta sighs deeply. Listen, just give me the manuscript and I'll disappear. They'll find you, Loretta. Once the truth is out there, they're going to hunt you down. The publisher will refuse the book, too. He won't get the money. Don't be silly. The controversy will only boost sales. Besides, they couldn't find Walter in his own backyard. What makes you think they'll ever find me? How can you look at yourself in the mirror, Loretta? Lord knows, Margaret. I only meant well. I'm afraid of mirrors, actually. What is done cannot be undone. It could all just go away.
What are you waiting for? Come on, pull the trigger. You do all the work, while the redhead wants everything handed to her on a silver platter. You buy that baloney. Look at her. Think she's got you on the ropes. What are you standing here for, you idiot? She's right. What's done can't be undone. You're cooked either way, so shoot.
How can you look at yourself in the mirror? I'm not saying I'm proud of what I did, but what you did, I don't think there's a soul alive who could help you. There's no saving you. Please leave.
Oh, really? That's kind of, I mean, Margaret doesn't deserve the manuscript. See, that doesn't sit well with me, having her have the manuscript. The ending where she shoots is better.
Margaret didn't say a word to the police. I don't know why. Maybe she feels sorry for me. Maybe she refused to believe that Walter, her lover Walter, was lying dead at the bottom of his parents' well. Maybe she knew she didn't have any evidence. It'd be her word against mine. Maybe. Not that it mattered anymore. The publishing house withdrew their check. Kelly and Mikey left and never came back. And now winter is here. Just a little further.
Yeah, see, this doesn't sit right with me at all.
The voices have fallen silent. For good. I was burning up. I don't remember the exact moment the fever started. I lay in bed. The same bed Walter and I used to lay in together. In a house that was cold and empty. I was all done. In some feverish delirium, I ran through all my memories from the last few months. Or was it weeks? I don't know what day it was. I barely even knew what time it was. Eventually my leg quit hurting. But a sweet, nauseating smell replaced the ache, as if my body was rejecting my rotten, twisted soul. One more step. What day is it? Hello, Walter. Got a lot of snow this year, huh? You know what's weird? Winter's supposed to be cold, but I never felt cold anymore. What were you thinking? You never told me, and there was no way I could ever know. What drove you to crime? Although I know I'm no better. You probably had it coming. Maybe you even deserve to die, but not like this. Not at the hands of your own wife. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry it ended this way. I was dreaming of a better life, but I never realized I was ruining ours in the process. Forgive me, Walter. The same story can be told in so many different ways. Living my life in fear made me lose my grip on reality. Something changed my soul forever a long time ago. It seems like every one of us is destined to face our own personal hell at some point. But when I tried to follow my path, while also trying to retain the remnants of humanity I had left, I thought that maybe all I needed to do was stand still for a moment. Long dead and wet with a fresh coat of snow. The paint on the old barn doors, peeled off like dry flakes of skin, creaking in time with my disintegrating thoughts.
Oh, we're going for the pure widescreen. Thanks a lot, developer. Yeah, I don't find that ending to be like Like, I think that's kind of a chicken shit ending. Where it tries to play some sort of morality angle. And we're supposed to learn a lesson, or at least the characters learn a lesson. But it doesn't really feel right, you know. It really feels like it feels like she really should meet, you know, the dastardly parts of her end, and I think that the original ending that we got, I think that's certainly better than this. But let's see what we can do with the. I think there's one more choice we can make. So is that easy? One phone call, and Hoover and his boys come to dig around in my backyard. Where'd this all come from? We're responding to a tip, Sheriff. Who's the girl? Nancy Olson. As in Olson, the oil tycoon? His daughter? Whose land is this, Sheriff? The Harriet. It's Morgan's now. Ha! Speak of the devil. There he is. Sorry, Pops. No civilians past this point. Eat shit, Bill. I pay your salary with my taxes. And this is my land. And what in blazes is going on here? Agent? I think you need to take a look at this. We found a stiff in the well. In the well? For Christ's sakes. Sheriff, looks like we found your guy. The sheriff sighs. It's the writer, Walter Harris. He used to live here with his wife. Just had her funeral this winter. Gangrene. So apparently... I told you, Billy. Morgan, shut your mouth before I shut it for you. Loretta Harris sent a letter to Mr. Olson. She confessed to killing her husband and told him where the girl was buried. Oh, does this assume I killed Margaret, too? Walter Harris planned and orchestrated the kidnapping of the Olson's little girl. Ah, okay. That girl. Morgan rubs his pockmarked face. Harris kidnapped Nancy? Then Loretta killed him? And wrote a letter? To tell the truth, I'm a little lost. Every man has two forces warring inside him, Carter. And you never know which one will win. Good evening, madame. How can I help you? Evening. I'm here for the party. I'm very sorry, Mrs. Harris, but entry is by invitation only. It's a private party, you understand. But my husband's already inside. Walter is a member of our establishment. That is correct. But you probably have the wrong floor. I assume you're expected upstairs. Can I be frank? I don't know. Can you? I think you'd be better off joining your son, madame. Unless, of course, you would rather I call for Mr. Harris. No, don't bother yourself. So, I should go upstairs, huh? Perhaps you should. Have a lovely evening, Loretta. Oh, this is an interesting... This seems more like a Hollywood ending. Again, thanks a lot, developer, for a pure white screen. Blinding half the audience. Yeah, that's definitely a very Hollywood. I don't think I like that one either. Although I like it better than the one where we let Margaret go. Though I imagine, like, a lot of people, like, I imagine a lot of scriptwriters or Hollywood producers, you know, studios would probably pick that second ending. you know, where she just dies of gangrene. But that's exactly how you don't satisfy an audience. Is you try to play that moral card, but that moral card doesn't work with immoral people. That's why the first ending is really great, because she kind of gets what she deserves in the end. And then this third ending, the Hollywood ending, you know, maybe I think it might make you feel good, but it doesn't really make sense for her to. It doesn't make sense for her to be forgiven in the end and go to heaven, right? It does make more sense that she's hanging out with her husband in hell. Yeah, because Margaret is definitely not a better person out of here. Oh, what's the red answer? Lord knows Margaret only meant well. You've got no idea how long I've waited for this. Goodbye, Margaret. Oh, okay, so this is this ending. Okay, so the red ending is definitely the ending I prefer. I think that's the best ending so far. Like I said, the third ending is just too saccharine. I can see a lot of people liking that third ending. It's like the first ending is like for people that like kind of like dark thrillers, and the second ending is for maybe a European audience, because they sort of like European movies and stories usually end a little bit more open-ended. And then the Hollywood ending is the third ending, where she goes to heaven for some strange reason, even though... I mean, I guess technically she made one mistake in her life, and she killed somebody who wasn't a good person. You know, Walter himself was a murderer, but she didn't know that when she murdered him. She, you know, just was fed up with him. Fed up with his lies and his infidelity, you know. But I guess that begs the question: is like, if there's a, even though she murdered him not for noble reasons, he still deserved to die, right? And whether or not her motivation was the correct motivation, in the end, she did good as far as justice is concerned. And I do like that the devil voice is trying to drive you to that first ending. We can split the money. The money? Margaret wipes away her tears. You think this is about money? Here's your damn money. Wait. No more manuscript. Walter's final work, all gone. Because of you. What have you done? Get out, Loretta. Okay, so this leads to this ending. So only one of the choices really leads to the Hollywood ending. Well, like I said, this is the best ending. And obviously the developer spent a lot of time with this ending, you know, because this goes on for a lot longer than the other endings. Is this all the same? Do we change that little bit of text that says, why did you just grab the manuscript? Because in this ending, Margaret burned the manuscript or threw it away or something, right? I wasn't like totally sure what was going on there.
Keep worrying.
Cigarette. This is all the same. Why'd you chase her? Why not just grab the manuscript? Okay, so here it didn't take into account that Margaret destroyed the manuscript. Maybe we can... I guess you could explain that away with Loretta being an unreliable narrator. But I think they just... didn't catch it. Which is a shame. I would think with how well this whole thing is made that would be something that wouldn't have escaped the developer. But you know, you can't catch everything. You know, sometimes some things slip through the cracks. Anyway, I want to stop it there. This is meowmurai. You've been watching Loretta, running on the Nintendo Switch. Again, this game is available on all platforms, so you can get it on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. I picked it up on the Switch because Nintendo is well, the policy is not to interfere with the developer and allow them to release a title on their eShop without any requests for censorship. So, strangely enough, Nintendo is now the most allowing for developers to produce the work that they originally envisioned without additional censorship pressure. Microsoft and Sony both have asked developers to change their products before they're released on their stores. So Nintendo went from being the most stringent with censorship in the 80s and 90s, 2000s, and finally this platform that they have with the Switch, they just said, you know what, developers, you can just do what you want within reason, right? You can't have like explicit adult material, but you can do everything else. And so it's interesting to see how things have changed. The other two major competitors out there have placed more censorship and more restrictions, whereas Nintendo has done less, and I think it's a real benefit for them, especially with these smaller titles, with these indie publishers who maybe they don't have a lot of time and money to change their game to meet whatever weird corporate standard is currently active from year to year in the game publishing world. But I think this is going to be on one of my Game of the Year lists. I think it's incredibly well done. Like all of the art and the transitions, little puzzle elements that didn't really need to be there, but I'm happy that they're there. To give yourself some video gamey portions to this. But it's a great thriller. It's a very dark story, but I like it a lot, and hopefully you do too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.